up? Welcome to the 17th episode of the Go To Techie Show. I'm your host, Isaac Swenson. A couple things. I'm back in San Diego now. Still a little sick. My voice is a little bit messed up. Still got a little cough. But other than that, I'm pretty much back to normal. It's been about 2.5 weeks now, so it should be better. But I've been just really feeling bad and sick and stuff. But back in San Diego, back in the studio, so really excited about that. And really got a good show lined up for you guys. First off, if you got any tech questions, email me at thegototechie@gmail.com. Make sure you check out my website, www.thegototechie.com, to save some money with eMusic, with GoDaddy, or get some free music with eMusic. So make sure you check that out. And when you support the sponsors, you're supporting this show. Alright, so this show, as I promised last time, I'm going to be talking about building a computer from scratch. Now I know there's a lot of tech news that I could cover, as you know, CES has been going on, but I just thought, well, after CES dials down a bit, I'll cover some of the stuff after that. Excuse the helicopter, but we live kind of by an Air Force base and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, today we are definitely going to be talking about how to build a computer from scratch. I'll be going over that, and you guys should have no problem building one for yourself after this video. Alright, so the most important part of building a computer is the motherboard. The motherboard is basically what everything connects to. If you don't have the right motherboard, you got major problems. So what I like to do is I sit down and find the motherboard I want, and when I just leave that tab open on my browser so I can refer back to it when I'm picking out all my other components. So a couple good websites to buy computer parts from are Newegg.com and Tiger Direct. You can also get them at your local computer store. I typically just order mine online. So as far as motherboards go, there's a lot of different ones out there. Asus and Intel are a couple of my favorite motherboard manufacturers, but you can fool around, check out whatever you want. There's lots of different manufacturers out there. Just get the motherboard that's right for you. Alright, the next thing you're going to want is a processor. Processors now, especially the quad cores, have gotten pretty cheap. So if I were you, I wouldn't skimp on the processor. Basically, they keep updating those, and so if you buy one that's really on the low end right now, it's going to get outdated really fast, and you're not going to be that happy. So I would get a really good processor, just so it doesn't get outdated. Next, you're going to need some memory, or RAM as it's called. Nowadays, you can get about 4 gigs for pretty cheap. You can get them about for $25-30 for 4 gigs. So I'd get at least 4 gigs of RAM. Depending on what you're doing, if you're going to be doing gaming or other high-end stuff, you're going to want more RAM, obviously. Next is the hard drive. You got a couple options here. You can get a regular hard drive, just make sure it matches up with your motherboard. You can also get something called a solid state drive. It's basically flash memory instead of a hard disk. These solid state drives, basically they're going to be a lot faster. Data transfer is going to be a lot faster, but they're also going to be more expensive. So, if you're looking for a really fast computer, you want high-speed data transfer, go with a solid state drive. Otherwise, most people will just use a hard drive. Solid state, it's not that big of a deal. Hard drives nowadays are very cheap and they perform very well. The next thing you may want is a video card. Now, some motherboards will have built-in video. If you want to do gaming and stuff like that, you'll definitely probably want another video card. They can range anywhere from $20 to $300-400. ATI and Nvidia are a couple of the major brands there as far as video cards go. Sound cards. Sound also is sometimes included in the motherboard most of the time. If you want more sound, or different sound configurations. I'd get a sound card. The next thing you're going to want is a case. You want to make sure the case fits with the size of your motherboard. Some cases have power supplies, others don't. You're going to want to make sure that you have a power supply. And sometimes the one that comes with the case may not be big enough for whatever you're running. So you may want to get just a different power supply with a higher wattage or something like that. Next comes the optical drive. Here you got DVD, CD, Blu-ray, and LightScribe. Basically here you just gotta choose what you want. If you want to do HD movies, you probably want to get a Blu-ray drive. Otherwise, just get a CD, DVD burner. You get LightScribe, which basically writes the image to the discs. You just gotta buy special discs. Next, a couple other things. If you want to put some extra fans in there, you're going to want to buy those. You shouldn't really need any additional fans unless you're doing some crazy overclocking stuff. But if you want additional fans, you'll want to purchase those. The next thing you're going to want is an operating system. So if you're going Windows, you're going to have to buy that. Otherwise, you can get a flavor of Linux for free. But most people will just want to buy Windows, so you'll have to get that. And then if you don't have a monitor already, you have to buy one of those. Just make sure it is compatible with your motherboard or your video card. Displays now have gotten pretty cheap. What I was also thinking of doing too is building a computer and then just getting a video card with an HDMI output and then just having a HD TV as a monitor. You could also do something like that, or you could just go with your traditional computer monitor. Another thing that a lot of people sometimes overlook is external drives. If you're switching computers, you're going to want a big external hard drive so you can copy all your data from your old computer onto the drive and then put it onto your new computer. So those are some things to keep in mind when you're building a new computer. Building a computer is a little bit difficult. I've done it before. Basically, you have to follow the directions to the letter. Be very careful with all the parts. You can fry them if you expose them to static electricity and stuff like that. Basically, you got to be very careful when you're touching the insides of your computer. You can break stuff pretty easily and it can be quite a costly mistake. So these are the things that you're going to need to build a computer. There's obviously other things you can buy, peripherals and stuff like that. But that's basically what you're going to need to build a computer. Alright, next week we're going to be talking about some of the stuff from CES, and hopefully the new ice Slate from Apple will be out by then. But that about wraps up this show. If you got any tech questions, email me at thegototechie@gmail.com or leave a text or video response below this video if you're watching on YouTube. Alright, that wraps up episode 17 of the Go To Techie Show. I'm your host, Isaac Swenson. Keep it sweet.